coming. I'm very happy it's not raining. There was a little rain coming. I got worried. What we're going to do tonight is this. First, I'm going to introduce myself and tell you a little bit about me, my story, where I've come from. If you haven't noticed, I am American, but I've been in Melbourne for 2 years, and I love it. Everyone always asks me, because I moved from New York City, do I miss New York City? No, I do not miss New York City. But I was there 18 years. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. Then I want to find out from you why you're here, a little more than just my questions. So we're going to go around the circle, because there's not too many of us that I can't hear from everyone. I'd love for you to introduce yourself and tell me why you came tonight. Then I'm going to teach you and give you some pieces of knowledge about the mind and the tendencies of the mind. Then I'm going to tell you what the secret is to a deep meditation. Then we're going to learn some techniques that are going to help you to meditate better on your own. And then we're going to tell you about next steps if you really want to go deeper with your practice and establish a practice and really do the work. And that'll make sense when we get to the end. Does it sound good? Oh, and then at the very end, I have all this food, so please help yourself, because we're leaving this weekend. We don't have enough time to eat all the food, so it would be good if you guys help me with that. So I have some hummus and cheese and crackers, and I have a few people here that are volunteering. And I have someone else up front. So there's 4 of us tonight that have come out. We're all volunteers that are here to answer questions, to talk to you more, and all of that good stuff. Sound good? Yeah. Okay, awesome. So my name is Suparna Bhasin, and like I said, I moved to Melbourne about 2.5 years ago. But my journey with all of this really started much more before coming here. I would say in 2006, I had a real breakthrough in my own life. It was actually around drinking alcohol. It wasn't around meditation. And it was just a case of something where I said, I'm going to stop, and then I wouldn't. I'm going to stop, and then I wouldn't. And I wasn't an alcoholic, but it was a way that I held myself back. And so I'll just make a very long story short. I got very drunk one night, made a pass at a gay man, and realized that this is the end of my drinking career. This was my bottom. Fortunately, it wasn't a dangerous bottom. I just looked foolish, and that's it. So that happened. And what I did, yeah, everybody has a I hit on a gay man story. And then what happened after that is I took alcohol out of my life, and what I put into my life was yoga, meditation, chanting, journaling as part of what I call a morning practice. So those were the 2 changes that I made, and my whole life opened up. That year in my business, I had a life coaching business in New York called Passion Into Practice. The first 6 months of that year, I did about $20,000 in coaching work. The last 6 months of that same year, I did $100,000. So what I credit the difference to is coming into alignment with myself. But here's where the story gets interesting. I started doing those practices, but like you, I couldn't maintain them. It wasn't consistent. It didn't last. I think I did it for about a year, but then I didn't upkeep it. And I didn't have any support. I didn't have a community. I didn't have structure. I sort of was doing it on my own without learning from any school or going anywhere. And so I don't think I had a full experience of it, but I was doing something which was better than nothing, and I had given up the drinking. Then in 2010, I found The Art of Living, which is part of who's hosting this tonight. So I'm actually a volunteer, as is Rohit and Gitanjali and Viraj, who's up front. We're all volunteers. We give our time. Art of Living is actually the biggest volunteer nonprofit organization in the world. And I found The Art of Living, and for me, it changed my whole life. It was the best decision I ever made. The first program I ever did was what's called the Happiness Course, where you learn the technique that we're going to teach you about tonight. And it was the beginning for me. It was a meditation course, a silence course, chanting courses. It was a whole path, a whole community, a lot of structure, a lot of support. And I made my best friends in the whole world through this community that feel like my family. And they're all over America now, and I miss them dearly. But for me, this was the best experience of my life, coming to this place and finding this place. And it's an integral part of my life now in a way that it wasn't before. So I'm sort of the living example of someone who tried to do it on my own. And it's hard, it really is, because this is something that if you really want to have the benefits, you need to practice and have discipline around the practices. So that's my story, a little bit about me. Can I hear from a few people? Maybe we'll go around the room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do it. I have you guys till 8:30. We'll just go around the circle this way, and we'll have everyone share. Hi, nice to meet you.
my name is Hong Lin. What, my background?
Just, yeah, why you came tonight, a little bit about you, and what are you hoping to get out of this evening?
Well, I like to learn about meditation because I always wonder whether am I doing it right or
Yeah.
am I not doing it right? What does that mean?
Yeah.
So I just want to do that.
Yeah.
And my background is I've got an online business,
Oh, cool. What kind of business?
selling stuff.
Okay.
What do you want to
Wow.
buy? What do you want to buy?
Wonderful.
What do you want to buy?
Wonderful.
Of course, you all are potentially my customers. You get hashtag. How about
She's
that?
going to hand out cards at the end of the night.
We'll talk later.
Okay, all right.
You can chat about it over cheese and crackers.
We'll check. We'll check.
Okay.
Gitanjali?
So I'm Gitanjali, and as Suparna was saying, I'm also a volunteer with Art of Living with Viraj and Rohit. And I've been with Art of Living for 20 years as a volunteer, as a teacher, and it's absolutely life transforming. So I'm happy to share questions and discussion more later.
Gitanjali is a wonderful teacher. She's so devoted, so dedicated, helping so many people to learn and grow and thrive. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Anthony. I am self-employed and I sort of meditate intermittently when I'm stressed, and I use apps. I've got 4 that I think I'm doing it right with, but I'm probably not, so that's why I'm here tonight.
Awesome. Thank you.
My name is Sophie. I found this through 16th Street Acting Studio. I'm actually studying on an acting course at the moment, and that's sort of a really big reason as to why I want to be more disciplined, I suppose, as you say, with meditation, because it there's such a relationship with acting, sort of this idea of presence and just being able to sort of think freely almost.
Totally. Not almost, definitely.
Yeah.
It'll help you tap your creativity and really connect you to yourself in a way that'll allow you to feel more, evoke more, go deeper into your trade, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Wonderful. Thank you.
I'm Caitlin. I also study at 16th Street with Sophie. And I've just started doing, not just started, but for about the last 4 months I've just really got into yoga a lot, which I'm loving. I tend to get like pretty bad anxiety, so I have trouble getting my mind quiet, so
Yep.
that's kind of why I'm here.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You've definitely come to the right place. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Alexia. I'm also a performer, Little Performers Corner. Singer, actor, dancer, so I'm always very busy, very active. I love yoga. My favourite part of yoga is Shavasana, right at the very end.
Yeah.
And I've recently got into a Sunday class, which is just in Nidra. So it's sort of like a
Beautiful.
conscious sleep. And
Yeah.
I'd love to just deepen the practice.
Beautiful. Thank you.
My name is Lorena, and I've been doing meditation on and off for the last probably 2-3 years. Never actually made it a routine, which is something that I'm trying to do now.
Yep.
But what I have difficulty with is the different techniques, whether it is visualization through objects or mantras, or it's just I would like to learn a little bit more about which one's more effective, because I feel like I end up doing a little bit of everything and then I'm just overwhelmed.
Totally. Very confusing, actually. If you keep going and jumping around, it's called spiritual shopping. But then you never land, and then you need to just choose a path and land and go really deep, and then you can really blossom. So we'll talk about that tonight. Awesome. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Colleen. I like to meditate every day because it's very healing and it's very positive, and it's also improving my anxiety.
Beautiful. Thank you. Do you want to just scooch in and join us? I feel like you're out of the
I
circle.
just didn't want to be in the camera. So
Oh, I think you'll be fine if you come and sit next to him. Yeah, I'd hate to miss you. Hi.
Hi, my name's Adam, and I came here tonight. I don't know anything about it. I've been speaking with Anna about it, and she actually recommended to, similar reasons for the rest of you, so with anxiety and you know, making firm decisions and having a clear direction in life, and you know, sort of get sidetracked with, you know, different thoughts all the time coming in, you know, what you want to do and not dedicating myself to something. So yeah, I just come here open-minded, hopefully that it could be something to train my brain to be relaxed and, you know, train these muscles in there instead of, you know, the physical ones outside.
Yeah, that's. I'm going to talk exactly about that because you're absolutely right.
So
It's called mental hygiene.
Yeah, and I'm just here to just learn a bit more about it and
Awesome.
see if it's the right thing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Anna. As Adam said. I'm self-employed sort of private tutor. I actually came from London a few years ago because they're down in Melbourne because I love it so much. It was initially just a holiday, like a career break of having a massive meltdown at work. I hated my life, and so I went travelling and I was like, oh, I can stay here. And I started my own tutoring business. It was kind of accidental and more successful than I thought it'd be.
Oh,
I had to look for a job,
good.
so that was great. So I stayed here, and but anyway, I knew about meditation, but I never really understood what it was, what this miracle thing was about, how it's supposed to change your life, and I was like, this is a big claim. And I was like, you know, if it was, why isn't everybody doing it?
Isn't that a good question?
Yeah, so I was like, okay, what is this about? And I tried it myself, but I wasn't quite sure. I wasn't falling asleep, so it doesn't feel much different afterwards. So I'm obviously doing it wrong because I don't feel any different. But I do yoga, and I've always done yoga. I think I've been doing it for about 3-4 years. And I do it every day, every morning before I go to work. And so I'd like to incorporate meditation with my yoga and also find out what this life-changing thing is.
Yes.
And if it will change my life.
Yes, it will. You know, you can run your whole life like an experiment. So you've heard that, right? And now it's like you're going into your own human laboratory called your life and your home. And you try something and you find out for yourself. Because whatever anyone else has to say is simply only whatever someone else has to say. You'll never know until you try. I did women's empowerment coaching for a long time. And the whole way that I taught my clients was run an experiment for the next 100 days with me. Try these things that I'm going to teach you to do, a morning practice, et cetera, and run the experiment and find out. Because you're never going to know otherwise. So you're your best subject to study, right? Because everyone else is not going to help you at the end. It has to be you to find out about something. Yeah, good. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Laura. I started meditating about 6 months ago and I found it to be pretty amazing. It really helped me be in the moment and really helped me to stop thinking about things that have maybe happened in the past or things that were going to happen in the future. And yeah, it really changed my life, and I guess like a lot of changes have then occurred and in a positive way, and it's been pretty amazing. But I've always done it on my own, so I came here today to learn a little bit more about it, and yeah, just talk to other people who also meditate, see what techniques other people use as well.
Yeah, awesome.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Gabby. Like I've said many times, I've never done this before. But I'm another anxious woman. And I'm an anxious Jewish woman, so it's twice as bad. And yeah, I'm starting a new job next year in a new field, moving from education into marketing at an edutech startup, so completely different space. So I feel like I'm definitely going to be anxious as I'm, you know, learning new skills in a new field, and I think this will really help me calm down and focus my energy a bit more. And I drink too much coffee, so maybe I need to give that up as well.
You can give up coffee and start meditating. Maybe reduce the coffee?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Welcome.
My name's Peter, and my claim to fame is I brought Sapana from New York to Melbourne.
In case anyone was wondering why I came here, that's why I came here.
Good work.
And Sapana introduced me to art of living and meditation and yoga and breathing, and I'm a great advocate for it. It's been a kind of a slow burn, deepening experience. I'm also an investor in 16th Street, the acting studio,
Yeah.
so really love this idea of, I guess, presence and I'm not an actor, but really, really sort of love this idea of the inner journey, if you like, around confidence and self-esteem, and so I've been to a couple of Art of Living have 4 ashrams around the world: Germany, a couple in the US, a couple in India. So I've been to 3, 2 in North America and 1 in India, in Bangalore, and just had the best experiences and met such wonderful people. And so I'm a fan.
Very supportive.
Hi, I'm Rohit. Being Indian, I never did this until I had a problem in my life, which was obviously stress related. That was 10 years ago. And a British guy told me about this. And I said to him, "You are a hippie, you should go to India." I'm not interested. I'm here to be successful. I'm here to make money. He said, "But you look so unhappy." I'm like, "How do you know?" I'm very happy. So I think the real breakthrough came when one of the nurses that I was working with my condition, she said to me, "Indian people are so nice. How come you complain so much?" And I was like, "Oh my God, okay." So what should I do? She said, here's Art of Living, the breathing course. Go and do it. I was like, I wonder what is so special about this. Because had it been an Indian person telling me about this, I would have never done it. I would have thought, oh, that's what Indians do. But I think it was life-changing coming from a Westerner. So it really made a difference for me. And
So honest and funny.
Life has just changed. Yeah.
Awesome. I too have had a big problem with anxiety and depression, and a lot of worrying thoughts and laying awake at night with racing thoughts, and just not being able to calm down, not being able to be present, not being able to live in the present. And so these techniques that I've learned at the Art of Living, more than when I did it on my own, I can honestly say that. The difference being community, structure, support, techniques that really ground you and center you so that you can really do this in a way that's sustainable and long-term and becomes a daily sadhana, which is practice. So just like these guys, I guess, like I said, you'd have to find out for yourself, but there are enough of us here tonight telling you that there's something to this. Okay, awesome. So let's do this now. Do you want to ask Faraj if he wants to come? So what we'll do now is I'm going to actually give you some knowledge about the mind. So Laura, right? Yeah. Laura told us what she used to do. The mind would vacillate between the past, regretting the past, and the future, worrying about the future. That's the tendency of the mind. It's also the tendency of the mind, if you have 9 compliments and 1 insult, you'll remember the insult. So the tendency of the mind is to cling to the negative. And what happens is this: as we go through our life, what happens? We accumulate thought patterns. Do you see that? Ways of thinking about ourselves, ways of thinking about the world. We accumulate these thought patterns, and they become deeper and deeper, and they become something called samsaras, which are impressions in the mind. And what happens when you have an impression in your mind and a pattern of thinking? It creates a habit. And many times these aren't good habits, these are bad habits, and they're very difficult to break. And so anywhere in our life, if we're self-sabotaging, if we're hurting ourselves, it's often coming from the patterns that are ingrained and in behavior which becomes normal, even though it's not, because it's against our nature. So this is what happens. This is what happens with the mind. And just like we were talking about, you said it, I think, something about mental hygiene. What did you say? You did. No, he did. You did.
I was just saying about
exercise.
like it's, like exercise
Yes.
mental muscle, which is something you don't really think of all the time, do you?
Yes. Yes.
That's the way I'm sort of perceiving it regularly.
No, you're 100% right. So what happens, right? We want to know what's the secret. What do I do about this? Because everybody agrees with me, yeah? The patterns of thinking, that we have thought patterns that go like this, and a lot of times they're not serving us. Does anybody else suffer anxiety, negative thoughts, worry, not feeling good enough, all of that stuff? It's pretty common. It's pretty common for most people feel that way. So what I want to do now is this is the last point I wanted to make. So a lot of you that are even meditating on your own, and then many of you that are not, the key to this now is to reach a meditative state of mind. You need the secret. Does anyone want to guess what the secret is to a deep meditation? What's the tool that's going to take us into a deep state of meditation?
Put your phone on silent. Relaxation.
That helps. But how do you relax?
Breath.
Yes. The breath. The breath. And it's not just now I breathe, right? I'm saying there's real technique behind this. And there's actually ways to breathe that'll take you into a deep place of samadhi, which is like effortless bliss, like a place where you're fully relaxed, your whole body relaxes, and it's working. Because just closing your eyes and then you're going like this, looking around, is not actually going to cut it. It's not. That's what I used to think, meditating on my own or with an app or whatever it was. There's also some really fascinating research around the breath. So there's a man by the name of Pierre Filippo, and what he did was this. He had a laboratory, and what he wanted to study was the link between the breath and the emotions. So he brought a group of people into the laboratory, and he said, okay, I want you to evoke anger, I want you to evoke sadness, and I want you to evoke happiness. And they would evoke these emotions. And what he found with the emotions was a very specific breathing sequence or pattern of breath. So when the happy person breathed, it was like boom, boom, boom. When the sad person breathed, boom, boom, boom. And when the angry person breathed, boom, boom, boom. So there's a very specific sequence or impression of what that breath sequence is. He sent those people away. He studied, okay, these are the breath sequences. He brought a new group of people into the laboratory. He didn't tell them anything about the emotions. He just said, I want you to breathe like this, I want you to breathe like this, and I want you to breathe like this. And sure enough, what they reported was exactly the emotions that the people were evoking. So there's actually a very direct link between the breath and the emotions. And on the happiness course, which is the course that the Art of Living teaches, there's a breathing technique, which I'll tell you about at the end, which has so much research. So you can get all the research you want of, it's equivalent to taking an antidepressant every single day. It's like a happy breath. If you do it properly, it's a breathing-based meditation technique that really takes you into a deep place of quiet and rest. And what's wonderful about it is it's very specific. So if you can follow it, then it makes a lot of sense, right? Then you're not wondering anymore. You have a technique that teaches you what to do. So what I thought we would do now is practice and see what happens when we do this. Does that sound good? Do we want to do that? I'm going to call Rohit up because he's actually a teacher. And I figured you might as well learn from a teacher. I'm a teacher in the training, but I'm not a formal teacher, so I've opted for him to help us. So Rohit, what I'd love to do is teach them Ujjayi breath, like I told you, and then we'll find out how that experience was, and then we'll take them through a guided meditation.
Sure. So Ujjayi breath is a Sanskrit word. Ujjayi means victory. Victory over the mind. Yeah? Which is fighting the present moment. Yeah? So how do we do this? So I would like all of you to open your mouth and just say like this.
Hi.
At the back of your throat.
Hello. Hello.
Can you feel the breath at the back of your throat?
Like Darth Vader.
So what we do in this is we close our mouth, and when we are breathing in, we slightly constrict the throat, and we just pull the breath in and throw the breath out with slight constriction. So if I was to show you, I'll just make that sound. It's almost like a hissing sound that we do when we are gone to sleep. People, especially people who snore, they make this sound. Maybe Gitanjali and Viraj can also make it.
That's true.
Can you hear it? Yes? So we'll all do it. What we'll do is 3 of us can come
Walk
at the
around.
back and breathe
And make
with
sure.
you, then you will get it, because then you will hear it properly. So all I want you to do is, it's not too much effort. It's simply you're breathing in and breathing out. When you breathe in, you're just constricting your throat. So you're lengthening your breath. When you're breathing out, also you're lengthening your breath. Does it make sense? Keep on coming back to your breath. Slow, deep, long breath in. As you breathe out, relax, and you may smile. Making a slight hissing sound at the back of your throat while breathing in and while breathing out. You're not trying to pull the breath in or push it out. You're just breathing in and out. Couple more deeper breaths. And after finishing breathing out, you can come to normal breath and let go of the hissing sound. Let's take a deep breath in and slowly breathe out. Relax. Another deep breath in and let go. Just observe what's happening inside. Observe the state of your mind before you came to the class and after now doing this breathing. And there is no rush. Whenever you're ready, slowly and gradually become aware of your surroundings and your body, and you can open your eyes. Take your time. How was that?
Do you see how the room is quieter? It's different here than it was a few minutes ago.
Anyone would like to share their experience or how you feeling now in comparison to what it was when you came to Nepal?
Feel a bit lightheaded. Feel like, oh, like a boat from my head. Be still as well.
And your senses are a little bit more
Yeah, your ears like
sensitive.
this.
Awakened, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feel my ears like.
So you were more alive.
Yeah, I feel like the ferrets on the pole. What's happening?
Did you have something?
Yeah, I feel like it sort of goes along with the sound that I can hear of the breath coming in and out sort of sounds like wind, like in a storm or even like the sea when you're near a coast. So that's sort of really relaxing, but because it was coming, that noise was coming in, it was like wind was coming in, so I feel like my body was doing this, I feel really hollow inside, whereas before I felt kind of constricted and, closed, but now it just feels so much space inside. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's the best answer I've ever heard.
Me too, actually.
It sounds like that wind. It's kind of, if you listen to a hurricane or something, when you're inside and it's coming through, that's what it sounded like. But yeah.
Does anyone feel quieter? Do you feel like your whole mind is quieted down? Yeah. That was 5 minutes, guys. That's it. No. 5 minutes, maybe 7, not even.
6, I think.
We'll just call it 6. Yeah. It's very powerful, the breath. And who has trouble sleeping? Does anyone have trouble sleeping? Just one person. Wow, that's unusual.
Good job, guys.
This is really great to help you fall asleep. If you can't sleep at night, if you have a lot on your mind. Sorry about that.
I have the TV on before I go to bed.
Yes, not a good idea. So just a little bit of info. Whatever is the last thing you do before you go to sleep is what you'll dream about. It'll enter your system. So be really conscious about watching TV, watching the news. It's like everything is energy. So it's like spiritual fitness. What you put into your body, food, TV, movies. I won't go watch violent movies. Like everyone wants us to watch House of Cards. I refuse. I'm not going to watch it because it's too dark. We did watch Homeland, though. That wasn't so good. We were both kind of regretting that maybe on the other side of it. But do you know what I mean? Like, especially right before bed? No, we don't want to do that.
Because I always thought that it's a comforting thing. I used to do it when I was a kid, and that was comforting to get me off to sleep, so I didn't, have nightmares or, be awake thinking, oh God, I can't sleep. And the idea of turning it off and it just being silent is scary. But,
But run the experiment.
yeah.
Run the experiment for 10 days and see how you feel. And the quality of your sleep will change. Allowing you to reside more in yourself. Because if you have that noise, it stimulates you. So your rest should be deeper and quieter. And replace it with breath, the TV. So especially this technique we just learned. You guys feel more relaxed, right? You see how you're more relaxed. It's going to help you settle down. Great. So now who wants to meditate? Because we said this was the secret to meditation. I need to meditate today too. I saved it because I thought group meditation is more fun. So Rohit is going to lead us through a meditation now.
Shall I have some music on? Do you want some music?
No, I don't think so. No, I want them to get quiet. Yeah. I'm going to see if I can hit the lights, actually. Give me 1 minute.
How long did this go for?
Oh, that he's not allowed to tell you. You're going to have to guess at the end. No, we have more tricks up our sleeve. You didn't even meditate. That was just breathing. Could we turn these lights off just right here?
I turned it off.
So by the way, I'll just quickly ask you, what do you think is meditation while the guy's telling you lights off? What is meditation? What do you actually do? Do you do something?
Still the mind, that's what I've read. Still the mind, like water still.
But can you do it?
I have
Do you-
no idea how to do that.
Do you have to do it?
I don't know if it's physically possible. How do you still the mind? I mean,
Yes.
It's not a tangible object.
Yes.
That's, yeah.
Visualization. Training.
Being present.
Being present. That's the right answer. Yeah. Everything else has parts to whatever you said. Partly that's correct, but what you said is 100% right. Being present to everything. Not pushing anything out, not taking anything in, just being a witness is meditation. It's not something you do. Because the body works on the principle of effort. If you have to pick up something, you have to put in effort. You need energy. But mind works on the principle of effortlessness. It's like, how many times have you done this? If you thought about, where did I put my keys? Would you remember? No. As soon as you relax, you remember. Has it happened to you? Yes. So we'll do that. We'll just close our eyes, listen to the instructions. And if we all could not cross our legs and also keep our hands, palms open towards the ceiling. There is a reason behind that, we can explain later. But we'll just sit. And if you're sitting on the chair, just make sure you're sitting at the front of the chair. So you're not slouching at the back. Your spine is straight.
Start with the journey.
Let's take a deep breath in. Let's close our eyes. And breathe out. Let's take a deep breath in with the hissing sound. And as you breathe out, the hissing sound continues. And consciously relax your face with a smile. Even if your smile is artificial, doesn't matter. You're just smiling. Hissing sound, breathe in. With the hissing sound, breathe out. You're not looking for an experience. You are just being here right now. Present to your breath. That's all you have to do. Let's bring our attention to the different parts of the body while we are breathing. Become aware of your shoulders, pull them down a little, relax them. Keeping the spine straight. Relax the front of your body. Relax the back of your body. Relax your arms. Relax your legs and your feet. Relax your whole body. Each time you breathe in, the body becomes slightly tense. each time you breathe out, the body becomes relaxed. Just notice that. Take a deep, long, slow breath in. And breathe out effortlessly with a smile. And while the hissing sound continues, let's listen to the other sounds in the room. Acknowledge them. The sound of the lift, the sound of your neighbor's breath, the sound of your own breath. Breathe in and relax as you breathe out. Let us become aware of the thoughts. Good thoughts, not so good thoughts. The thoughts come like clouds and go. Just be a witness to your thoughts. Still breathing and relaxing with the breath. Let us become aware of feelings, pleasant feelings, not so pleasant feelings. Be in harmony with your feelings. Still breathing and relaxing with a smile. Dive deep into yourself and let go. You are peace. You are joy. Relax and let go. And let go of the breath, now just relax. If the breathing is happening on its own, let it happen. If it's not, let go. in. And slowly breathe out, relax, let go more and more. Keep on coming back to yourself. Let's become aware of feelings, if any. Thoughts, if any. Another slow, gentle breath in. With a smile, breathe out, relax. More and more. Becoming aware of the body and the environment. Let's take another deep breath in and breathe out. Whenever you feel complete from within, take your time, there is no rush. Very slowly and gradually, you may open your eyes with a big smile.
Hi, thank you. Can we get the lights back on? Thank you.
Anyone has a burning desire to share their experience?
How was it? Did we like it? Thumbs up if you liked it.
It's really hard for me, but I liked it.
Yeah. You've said you've never done it before, right? There's only one way around that. You know what it is, right? Practice.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I don't have Rohit there saying calm down and the instruction. So how do I practice?
Oh, that's what I'm going to tell you next. She's like, I planted her there. Does anyone else, otherwise I'm going to tell you more that has the story be complete. Does anyone else want to share? It was good? You enjoyed it? Did you notice how much deeper this was maybe than anything you're doing on your own? Yeah.
I felt like my shoulders went like that and felt more relaxed. My body just went, "Huh." And I started thinking about happy things like being on the beach and
Yeah.
like New Year's. Oh, look at that. That's gonna be nice.
Remember what we said, the breath is linked to the emotions?
Oh yeah, okay.
So Ujjayi breath is victory breath. So we taught you something that's going to put you in a very relaxed, peaceful, happy place. Because we changed the breathing, we changed the breathing that you were doing, and it changed your state of mind.
I felt really sad. I don't know what you.
Did you?
Yeah.
Could be stuff is coming up.
Yeah.
You know you're purifying too when you do this? Yeah.
I had like some negative thoughts first, and then I was like, nah, that's gone now, so I'm just gonna think of the beach. Oh yeah, that's nice. I'll stay here, it's better. That's what happened. I actually went through a lot of emotions.
Yeah.
It was like a tumble dryer. And then one that came out was the beach, I stayed with and hanged around.
Good call. Anyone else want to share?
It was really different. It's the restriction almost is so different. None of the practices I've done before have included that, and that for me felt what made it really deep. I think.
That's why it's the secret,
Yeah.
the breath.
Yeah.
But it's doing the breath properly that makes the difference. That's what I was saying. It's when we try to do these things on our own, we don't know because we haven't properly learned. And the apps are okay, at least you're doing that. But it's not the same as having a teacher and learning something that's very deep and powerful and transformative.
It was still a start thing in my mind. Like I'm usually fighting, like, okay, come back now, and then 2 seconds later, come back now. But I didn't feel like I did that at all. So
Yeah. I found it hard to come back. Did anyone else find it hard to come back? Didn't want to open your eyes, right? Yeah. It's beautiful.
When you do it in a group, there's like this energy as well. It feels really nice.
Yeah, definitely. When you meditate with a group, you're able to go deeper. But I tell you the next thing, you're able to go deeper. So your question, how do you do this on your own? So the breathing technique that's like the signature course for the Art of Living. The Art of Living is in like 160 countries. Tens and millions of people have done this. So
80 million.
80 million. So 80 million people have done this. Not bad. It's called Sudarshan Kriya. Su means proper. Darshan means vision. And Kriya means purified action. Sudarshan Kriya. So let me just tell you a little bit the history of this breathing technique and where it came from. So I don't have his picture here tonight. Actually, I fell down in that. I should have brought his picture. Sri Sri is our teacher, and he's a realized master. At the age of 5, they used to find him in deep meditative practice, and he even recited the entire Bhagavad Gita at the age of 5, which is the ancient text in India. You've heard of it, yeah? It'd be like reciting the Bible for a Christian. And he was 5. So he clearly came into this world, unlike, myself, he and I, we came in this way, but everybody else, no, not really. So he came in extraordinary, and in his early 20s, he was part of a meditation movement where he was teaching people to meditate using a mantra. And what he observed was that the people that were meditating weren't receiving the benefits of meditation in their daily lives. So they were meditating, they weren't getting as quiet, and they weren't receiving the benefits of meditation in their daily lives. So he took a period of silence for 10 days, and he cognized the Sudarshan Kriya. The breath we taught you was just the first step in the whole line of what to do in this technique. There's like 8 steps, and we gave you step 1. And it's, for me and for everyone, I can speak for them safely, and there's millions of people like this, you guys, volunteering around the world. Why? Because they've found a snatch of happiness, and all they want to do is share it. So I'm doing this has been my full-time gig. And I have the benefit of this beautiful man telling me, if you take care of me, I'll take care of us. You can do whatever you want, and I feel this is the best use of my time, to actually share this with people. Because this is the greatest gift I was ever given, finding this community, finding these practices. This is what I want to give back. And like I said, there's many courses, so you can go even deeper and even deeper and even deeper, but this is step 1. And it's a very specific breathing sequence that they give you. And so, did you know that the Europeans never used to brush their teeth, and it was actually in the East that they learned to brush their teeth? So at one point, they didn't have dental hygiene. Why wasn't everybody brushing their teeth? Because they hadn't learned. So there was a period in history where not everybody was brushing their teeth, and you can only imagine how disgusting that was. Because the caveman didn't come in brushing his teeth. At some point, you had to learn. Just the same way, this technique, meditation learned properly, is like spiritual hygiene, mental and spiritual hygiene. And my greatest wish is that we live in a world where everybody takes care of their mind the same way, of course, they would take care of their carpet. You almost feels like insanity to me. And I'm American, which I told you, so why don't we look at 2016 and the US election? What would happen if the world leaders never brushed their mind? Well, we got to see on TV exactly what happens. And this is not a political commentary. I'm not talking about just Donald Trump. I'm saying the whole thing. The media, the politicians, it was like watching a bad, bad, bad movie that was not even a real, it's even worse than the movies. Because people are not looking after their mind. The quality of your mind will dictate the quality of your life. So this breathing technique, there's so much research on it, on what it can do. It permanently shifts your nervous system after 1 weekend. So they did a study on veterans. You know veterans, right? They're the most, arguably, have the dirtiest carpets. Would you agree? They've got PTSD, they've come home shattered, their minds, they're suicidal. The statistics are like 22 veterans every day are killing themselves, something like that, because their whole system is gone. So they did a study on these vets. They wanted to see what would happen after they did the course, the Sudarshan Kriya, the happiness course, what would happen. So their anxiety levels were through the roof. So after 1 weekend, what they observed, they started sleeping better, and their anxiety levels dropped to subclinical after 1 weekend. They said, okay, they just did it over the weekend, that's okay. What happens after 1 month? They brought them back into the laboratory. Sure enough, their anxiety levels dropped below, were still below subclinical, indicating that this had lasted more than 1 weekend. It was now a month later. But they said, that's not good enough. What happens after 1 year? Anxiety levels gone, down. They're getting off their meds, these veterans, and they're sleeping like babies still 1 year later, suggesting permanent shift in the nervous system. So you get a home practice, and it's very clear what it is. It's 20 minutes. It's a breathing-based meditation technique. So you're not just closing your eyes, or forgive me, using an app, but you're actually following something that's rhythmic and pure and will purify your system. And you might cry a lot during the weekend if you were to do it. But that's so beautiful because you're releasing. There was a veteran they actually made a film about. It was a film that was one of our projects. He was carrying so much grief in his body. He was completely shut down. Through the whole film, you see his face, like he won't talk. And then he did it for 1 weekend, and that's what opened him. And it was like a light bulb was turned on. It was so beautiful. So for me, this happened. Because when I went and did my first happiness course, when I did the Kriya for the first time, I was in a very dark place. It was in 2010. I had trouble getting into the classroom, and I love to public speak. I love people more than anything, and I had trouble walking up the steps and taking the course. That's how bad shape I was in. And I did the practice and the technique for 40 days. That's what they asked me to do. And it literally felt like a dark cloud had just moved away, and a light had been turned on. And I stayed with this community, these practices, these techniques, and this is just the beginning. I did a silence course. I went into such a deep place. The whole 3rd day of the silence course, I just kept sobbing with just pure bliss and gratitude. You just can keep going deeper. That's the beauty of it. There's endless courses. And these guys will tell you, they know. It's like beyond anything you can imagine. So for me, it's the best thing that I could ever tell you. If I only had one shot to tell you something, which is probably what I only have, is one shot. And that's the only shot I have with anyone I get in front of. No, right? You guys aren't going to gather like this again with me in the same way. I have one chance to tell people something. I'm going to tell them about this. So that's it. That's a little bit about the Sudarshan Kriya, the breathing. Hopefully you saw, we took you on a journey tonight to show you where you could end up. If you feel this good after an introductory session, which was maybe 45 minutes, how long did we meditate for?
10 minutes.
Do we know? It was only 10 minutes. Does anyone have any questions? Does that answer your question of how you can do it? Was that clear?
No.
Okay.
You have to register for the course.
Okay, so there's a 3-day course.
I have to register for the course.
Yes. Sorry. So there's a 3-day course. On the first day, you do something called long Kriya. On the second day, you do the long Kriya. This is the long breathing. This is the one they studied to see that there was permanent shift in the nervous system. On the 3rd day, they give you a home practice. So every single day, it's like a toothbrush and toothpaste for your mind. Every morning, 20 minutes, 10 minutes to meditate, 30 minutes, you're done. There's also a meditation course you can take, which you get a mantra, and it's a mantra-based meditation. You can do that as well, but we recommend this first. 20 minutes of this, then I do 20 minutes of that. 10 minutes of yoga in the beginning, a little bit of stretching. It's like the best thing you could ever do. It's like a brushing your soul. You brush your teeth, you brush your hair, you shower. But what about your inner world? Because your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. Does anybody have any questions? Yeah.
Is there sort of a preferred or a better time of the day?
Morning. Morning. Not at night.
There is no such thing though.
Really?
Depends.
Do you think?
I've had people who have done it at night also.
Okay. I tend not to. I like to do it in the morning.
It's your personal. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
I guess any time during the day.
It's better than not doing it at all.
Definitely.
So whenever you can fit it in. Yeah.
But you know, some they say sort of with exercise, physical exercise, it's better to do it at a certain time of day, usually morning actually.
Yeah.
But I just wondered if that was the
We
same.
offer, we always suggest to do it on an empty stomach. And often when you wake up in the morning, like Sapan was saying, your mind is fresh, you haven't started engaging with the day or listening to the news or, thinking about work just yet. So often in the morning, people do, morning people, if you get up at 4, 5, 6, some people do it that time, I don't, I do it about 7, but your mind is fresh and it's a good time to sit quietly to set up your day.
Yeah.
But sometimes when I'm busy working, I'll do it in the evening because I don't get time in the morning. So it doesn't actually
Yeah,
matter. As
it
long
doesn't
as you
matter,
do it.
but I would say since you're asking the question, I would say the preferred time
Yes.
because it'll change your day. You'll feel like you've filled up your gas tank the same way you need to eat breakfast. You'll feel like you've gotten really centered and you'll see your day changes because of it.
One lady who just finished a course, she did the first Kriya, and she said, and we gave her some instruction. She couldn't go to sleep after. It was at night she did it. I told them not to specifically do at night. She said she couldn't go to sleep till 3 o'clock.
So energized.
Yeah,
She
I
said,
wouldn't do it.
recommend it.
I wouldn't recommend it at night. Truly, if it's the only time of day, one day you have to do it. But if you're establishing a routine, which is what we want you to do, definitely.
But in the course, we tell you everything. It's pretty much,
Yeah.
that's why it takes
Yeah.
15 hours to go through everything.
Yeah, so the course is 15 hours. I'm going to tell you specifically. The good news about Melbourne is there's courses everywhere all the time, but we're going to give you some specific dates. Rohit is going to be teaching. Gitanjali and Viraj are going to be teaching. Did you just want to say hi to everyone and just introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Viraj. I'm another volunteer like Gitanjali, Suparna, Rohit. Been associated with the Art of Living for the last 9 years or so. And I just love sharing all the knowledge and the practices with you all.
Somebody needs to teach the mental hygiene, because the dental hygiene, thank God we got that, right? Why isn't everybody doing it? Exactly. And what would the world look like if most people weren't? We kind of know the answer to that. It's not great. It's not always awesome when we see some of the stuff that goes on, especially when you're watching the news. It just feels like it's constant noise and negativity. So what would imagine, and the only thing we can do is be the change we want to see in the world. That's what I think. And then do the best we can to be of service. So there's actually a lot of opportunities to be of service too, which is really beautiful. So it's 3 days, it's about 15 hours, it's $350 for the course, which I think is reasonable. Here's the greatest news of all. You come for 1 weekend, you get 2 days of long Kriya and 1 day of home practice. Then every single week for the rest of your life, anywhere in the world, you come back for long Kriya for free as part of your course.
2 hours long.
Every week. So it's like getting a yoga class every week for the rest of your life, included in the price. You can go anywhere. Sweetheart, haven't you gone to like Singapore and done it and stuff?
Yeah, London, Singapore.
You can go anywhere. There's centers everywhere.
But we do yoga in that class as well.
Yeah, you do yoga, you do breathing, you get knowledge. It's a really beautiful session. It's included. So that's how many countless hours included in the price. It's like a membership
And you can come and repeat the course.
for like $100.
For
50.
50.
50
It's actually 50 in Australia, it's 100 in America.
You can do that anytime